It's almost time to rumble. It's almost time for the Royal Rumble. But first, we gotta talk about this show from World Wrestling Entertainment in Little Rock, Arkansas, one of the strongholds of Mid-South Wrestling, the host of shows with memorable moments, memorable matches, and then whatever the fuck they offered here. So let's talk about it. I'm John Renton with my review WWE Raw from Little Rock, Arkansas. One thing that I want to say right off the bat, I hope everybody got home safe. If you were there and you happen to be commenting, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you got home safe, because I saw what the roads looked like just from images, from news outlets, and holy shit, that's a lot of snow. We're going through a goddamn cold snap like crazy, but global warming ain't real, you science-denying twats. That being said, yes, we are less than 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble. Raw has beaten a lot of passion out of me already, and we are only 3 weeks into 2024. So, according to WrestleTix, they had around 6,100, 6,200 people, and it was a big NBA-sized arena, and it kind of makes sense why there was such a small crowd because of the roads. The crowd did make the most noise they could. There were a couple decent moments on this, but geez, they are limping to the Rumble, and they are just limping and dragging along as we're on the chode to WrestleMania. So, we get Martin Luther King Day clips, and look, I'm not going to say anything as a white man other than it is bullshit how he died. We need to remember his words, and it is absolutely terrible how he died, but, you know, WWE likes to promote the fact Martin Luther King Jr. had such an inspirational message to people. What about what the Ultimate Warrior said about him? Google it, kids. Google what the Ultimate Warrior said about Martin Luther King Jr. You're going to be surprised. By the way, fuck the Ultimate Warrior. I'm glad he's dead. So, Rollins and Jinder arrive. Rollins had his kid. That was good. So, Cody shows up, and we're just going to react chode. Look, I know people like Cody. He wants to be the face of WWE. He will be. He's selling a lot of merch. He's doing a lot of great PR for the company. Here's Drew. He says, you know, you need to show people the real Cody. I know who you are. And Cody's like, this is the real me. No, I'm not saying he's the worst guy in the world, but I see through the disingenuous nature. And, you know, you're standing in my way. They reference, action that they've had in the past against each other. A match for What Culture Pro Wrestling. Anybody remember when What Culture had its own wrestling promotion? Anybody remember that? Remember when What Culture was, on the wrestling side with somebody just, well, I mean, they have a couple decent people, but they have Simon Miller. He's certainly energetic. That being said, Cody, yeah, he's looking two directions. He's looking at the people, and he's looking straight ahead at, WrestleMania. He's going to win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania. And then Truth and Priest are talking. Truth is selling bootleg merch, so to speak, of the Judgment Day. Actually, he just probably took it from a truck and said, let me sell it, kind of like the NWO was selling shirts, because they didn't work for WCW. And he gave Priest his cut, a big old wad. He handed Priest a massive wad. And other people will get their wad soon. Truth is just going to bust his wad out for everybody. And he doesn't know who Tom, or he references Tom and Nick Mysterio. He still hasn't met Nick. And don't tag in tonight, Priest says, because they're going to have a tag match later. So, DIY of Ciampa and Gargano took on JD and Dominic. Okay, they're going to have DIY go for the tag titles. I mean, what's old is boring again. I mean, look, they had a run in NXT. That run went a little bit long. Then they feuded seemingly forever. And I get it. I get that they're friends. I get that people like this. I didn't care about this match. It went through 2 breaks. The crowd was into it. I can't deny that. Just because I wasn't into it doesn't mean the crowd wasn't into it. JD got pinned. Why even have a ref, by the way? Because there were points where everybody was just in the ring doing stuff. Why even have a ref? Stop making referees look stupid. All wrestling companies, stop making them look stupid. Pierce is with Candice and Indy, and then Chelsea Green shows up along with Piper. And oh boy, we're getting that tag match. We get a package on Candice and Indy. They decided to have Candice cut pre-tape promos on this thing. Who decided that Candice should have promo time? I just want to talk. And then they had a match. The crowd went mild. This was messy. And look, I get it. I don't want anybody getting hurt. And Candice is a good athlete and has been, has proven to be tough. Indy is a better wrestler. I just want to say that. Didn't care one bit. And, what the fuck? Who the fuck? Yeah, Jesus. Who the hell cares? I mean, who cares what happened? Who cares? Who cares? It's just terrible. It's just terrible what happened. Indy and Candice winning isn't the worst thing in the world because they're going to push them. But just the women's tag division is just not worth it. I'm sorry. It's nothing against the women in general. No matter the effort, they cannot make the tag titles mean shit. Why is Nia Jax still here? I asked this question. So, Priest, he talks about Truth giving him his big old piece of his wad. JD wants his cut. Gunther then knocks Arkansas. They're in the ring. Well, him and Kaiser in the ring. Kaiser gets praised. You showed aggression. All this. Xavier shows up for his pound of flesh. No second billing because you're a star now. Oh, Cinderella, they aren't like you. Anybody that gets that reference, I love you guys. So we get a jump start before the bell, and look, much like Kofi and Kaiser, they kicked it into gear. They took it seriously. They're making the most of this whole Vinci thing. Of course, Kaiser wanted to take the head of the African-American man on Martin Luther King Day. Never changed, WWE. Never change. Remember when Rollins busted out the curb stomp on Martin Luther King Day? I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018, actually, because I remember being at my best friend Chris, a.k.a. the Durbinator's house, just before he got his own house. And we were like, did they bust out the curb stomp again on Martin Luther King Day? That's good. That's good stuff. It's not. So, Xavier's bleeding from the mouth. They were firing up. Kaiser tries to throw a chair. And Xavier throws a chair on him. That must have hurt. And then they get in a big old brawl, fracas. They're beating each other up. And there was some good stuff here. I'm not gonna knock it. They did what they could, and they're trying to kick up the most of this. I imagine maybe at Mania they might do this. They might have New Day or at least Kofi and Xavier against Kaiser and Vinci in Hell in a Cell. They could do it. They could. They did it with the Usos after we thought that the Usos and New Day had too many matches, or at least I and the vast majority of people did. So here comes Bronson in a dark room, and now he's going down to Emmett's Fix-It Shop to fix the lighting. I think he wants an IC title match. Xavier then gets attacked by Kaiser. They tell Jay to calm down despite the fact Jay has done nothing. I think Jay just wandered into the shot and was like, why am I being told to calm down? Tozawa with Maxine took on Thyvar with Valhalla. Anytime Alpha Academy even exists in the periphery of this show, it's embarrassing. It's nothing against the talents, except Maxine, who needs to not try to wrestle. I mean, I'm sorry. Valiant effort, but it's not working. Tozawa won. I mean, whatever. Then he got squashed, and Valhalla put her stinky January 6th ass all over Tozawa and all over Maxine. Rhea comes out and is just, all kinds of fired up and whatever. She is all kinds of fired up. And she doesn't even want to just deal with Nia Jax, but she has to. If not, whoever wins the Rumble better choose somebody other than her, because otherwise they're going to be done. Here's Becky. Becky is very despondent almost, because, she says, you have been really, really good. And I got this voice in my head, and this voice is telling me that maybe you're better than me. But I need to prove to myself that voice is wrong. So they are going to have a match at some point. Probably at Elimination Chamber. I'm going to say right now that if Nia Jax ever becomes women's champion, you can kiss me talking about the women's segments goodbye. Because that will be the complete desecration of the women's division. You might as well send all the women home. At least, I said that about Charlotte, at least Charlotte can wrestle. Nia Jax can't do anything. Remember what happened at, WCW NWO Sold Out 98? Yeah. If only that would happen to Nia. And let's see how good that superior immune system, works out for her. So, good stuff as far as being fired up. You may notice I skipped over one particular thing. That was the fact that they had, I guess Ivy says that she is going to, fight Valhalla next week. And I will not watch anything with the Creeds if they're not going to take them seriously. I'm not going to let them ruin yet another team. So I'm just going to say they're going to be over there until they want to be treated seriously. Alpha Academy is literally, some of the worst comedy that WWE has going. It's not good. I don't want to see Gable win another goddamn match unless they're going to stop doing this shit. So, Jackie then, mentions about the Rhea Becky stuff. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. Wow, I can't wait to see that match. Oh, Jackie, just be in the arena to watch it. Or go to the cock. And then Rollins comes into this shot and talks about the match. The main event match he's going to have against Jinder. I want to say right now, by the way, great job, Tony Khan. You managed to drum up more interest for Jinder Mahal than WWE has in quite a while. Because all Tony Khan wants to do is basically not care about his own records, not care about his own rankings, but then treat it like a legit sport as the ratings and everything are rapidly eroding and interest is eroding and crowds are eroding outside of AEW Revolution. All of these have Wembley, though. I'm not saying WWE's perfect, but at least with this, they had 6,000 people and it was a goddamn snowstorm. So good for them that they had that many people. Again, I hope the crowd got home safely. So, Miz and Truth face Priest and Balor. They did some comedy where, Truth's wad got busted out. He picks up the money, hands them to Balor. Miz had to basically go it alone. And we got more comedy with Truth and Priest. And then eventually, there was like some action where Balor got knocked down and Truth was like, do I have to hit Priest? And he's like, get out of here. But Truth eventually just pisses off Priest enough where he doesn't want to do it, but he choke slams him. And then Balor covers him 1, 2, 3. So there you are. Jinder is focused. Tonight is it. This is it. And I've had enough. Zoe remembers when Bill Watts first started running shows in Little Rock, Arkansas. She remembers when Leroy McGurk could still see. I would come up with better jokes, but one, Zoe's at least trying, and two, this show doesn't fucking deserve good jokes. Nakamura's in the Rumble. He just needs to eliminate himself. Nakamura might as well retire. Because I know he's getting big money, but when this contract's up, just retire. Because he's never going to be taken seriously. He can't do anything to make people interested because he never wins. Oh, and also, Cody, keep one eye open. Please stop doing this feud. Stop it. Natty and Tegan took on Shayna and Zoe. It was a tag match. It certainly was. I have nothing against Natty. I love Natty. Shayna is a good athlete. Tegan and Zoe. And the ref looks stupid again, and the Barracuda Clutch wins it. And then Jinder has Jinder share, as it were. They're in the corner. Title match, Jinder, Rollins. Secondary World Heavyweight Championship. Priest shows up, sits at ringside. He's going to cash in. Earlier they announced that Drew, excuse me, allergies and cold weather are a goddamn bitch. They announced that Drew and Priest are going to face off next week. So that probably should have indicated to me we weren't going to get a cash in. Drew shows up after a bunch of interference from Jinder Share. And him and Drew and Priest brawl. Too many pronouns, pal. Sorry, Vince McMahon. And a shot to that, and oh no, they got a near fall that nobody bought. If Jinder had won, I might have just said, you know what, at this point, why not? We don't care about the ratings. But it was a bad match. It was a really bad match. The timing was off. Interference was just sloppy. Stomp, 1, 2, 3. There you go. All right. In closing, I'm going to say this. In regards to WWE weekly reviews. When you get them, you get them. AEW, when you get them, you get them. There's going to come a time where I may just stick to the pay-per-views. Because, yeah, there's views. Yeah, sometimes I get the occasional good thing. But the weekly programming is starting to wear me down. I am 43 years old. I have been doing this and going strong pretty much for about 8 years doing stuff like this. And it's beating me down to the point. So you might get more movie reviews. Anyway, or movie reviews, as they might say in the English language. So, nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.